You pull out all the ang paos that everyone gave you, and you do a lucky draw, and you pull out the ang pao and be like, okay, so you won this ang pao from my fourth auntie. How much did she give? 40 bucks!
Hello and welcome to episode 5 of We Need to Talk. I'm Krish, this is Alicia, that's Ashley, and that's Shwen. And today we need to talk about...
What are wedding ang paos for? Like, what's the purpose? What's the point? Why do people give it? I'm bringing this up because like a while ago, this influencer posted like a video talking about like the different types of guests that come to a wedding. And one of the things that she brought up a lot was like how much money people give in their ang paos. So some people give like below market rate, some people give like a disproportionate amount, some people give like very inauspicious numbers. So people in the comments started talking a lot about like what are wedding ang paos meant to do, how much you should give.
Have you all given wedding ang paos before?
I have. I mean, very recently only though, because only now I'm at the age where people are getting married, right? So very recently. But I always just felt like growing up with my parents and stuff, it was always like when you go to a wedding, you give money to cover the cost lah. Because weddings are expensive, right?
So what are the factors that will determine how much you give in your ang paos?
Okay, so this is something I only learned this year because a lot of people are getting married, like you said, the age, right?
Yeah.
My brother taught me, right, the safest way that we can do, right, is so you see the invitation, the hotel, right? And then what ballroom is it? You go Google. And then you Google how much is it for one table? How many people are in one table? Maybe it's like 10, divided by 10. That's the amount that they should be paying for, and then you put that in your ang pao. Is that too calculative? I don't know.
I feel like it is kind of a calculative thing, right? Because you want to be able to give your share of the food and also maybe it's a bit of like a, you're starting a life together. Here's a little token to like help you celebrate in a way,
Well, I guess my question would be, what was the original purpose of giving the red packet at a wedding? Isn't it supposed to be like a blessing? Yeah.
Yeah, it is a blessing, like a love offering kind of thing. Like, let's celebrate in your joy. But now it's becoming like, let's pay for my meal.
Yeah lah. So if let's say you follow Shun's method of dividing by 10, right? Then isn't that a very like calculative way to give ang paos?
But I feel like why can it not be both calculative and also like auspicious? Like it's a way of supporting what? If I'm calculating how much I'm paying to support your wedding, but at the same time, me giving you this amount is also my way of saying like, yay, couple. It can be both what?
I guess right.
Maybe it's a question of how close you are to the people.
Yeah.
Right? If my close friends get married, then like I'll be so down to help them like cover the cost of their love.
Okay, let's say you've got two friends both getting married, right? Different points in time. They both get married at the same place. Is your ang pao gonna be exactly the same?
Different levels of closeness.
Is that how it's gonna go?
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like different levels of closeness is not about how much ang pao you give, but how much you help out in the wedding. Like, there are so many ways to show your love.
Yeah.
And then the offering thing, I totally agree with what you said. It's not my responsibility to cover your costs. Like, if you invite me to a super expensive venue, right, then maybe I'm just not as privileged as you to pay for that.
So like if, let's say a very close friend, like tier 1 friendship, okay, they invite you to their wedding and it's like a relatively expensive place.
You rank your friends
and
like
then, come on, subconsciously we all do lah, please. Then tier 4 of your friends, right, they also invite you to the same venue, like Ashley was saying, right? Would you give one less? Because I would My tier 1 friend, I'll be like, wow, okay, it's expensive, like I want to support them. I love them more than my tier 4 friend. So I go give more money. My tier 4 friend, I'll be a little bit more reluctant, like, okay, I just give less.
No, I will give market value.
No matter what
Because I've seen the behind the scenes of people after getting married, then they one by one take out the ang pao, right? Then they record it in an Excel sheet, like this person give this amount. Looking at that, right, I was like, better give market rate next time. Because you like blacklisted, right?
But doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose of a wedding?
Like if you give market rate, the idea of a market rate.
No, like the idea that your guests they're coming to your wedding, but they're fearful that like what you're gonna think of them, like whether that's an indication of how much they respect you, when like it's supposed to just be like a party because two people really love each other.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you're talking about market rates, right? So I was looking at market rates for different places. And there's a blog that talks about the 2023 kind of market rates for different locations. So I can share a little bit.
2023, every year they update.
Yeah, I think every year they update. But it's similar to how your brother told you to calculate the thing. It's divided by 10.
GST hike.
Yeah.
GST hike.
So for example, Saturday lunch would be different from Sunday dinner. Right? Generally, Sunday dinner is more expensive than a Saturday lunch. Some places, Friday they charge weekend price also. So to give you all a sense, Amara Singapore, if you want to do a Sunday dinner, is $162. That's how much you should be putting in.
Per pax.
per pax, per person.
okay.
If you want to go to Capella Singapore, wow, grand ballroom, it's $317 to $399 for a Sunday dinner.
You will give market rate every single time.
No.
Fellow freelancers who are artists, don't worry. If you want to be a little bit more different and do it at, for example, Substation Timber, right? If you want to be real artsy with it, alternate venue, right? It's cheaper. Right, it's cheaper. So let me find the substation.
It's a very conclusive list.
Yeah, they got
Like
everything.
everything.
Got Tanjong Beach Club also if you want. Tanjong Beach Club is 136 to 166 Sunday dinner.
Well, I want to know Substation Timber.
Oh, you're thinking of getting an artsy wedding? Look at you, actress.
Shane will get married
Cheap
there.
one. This one $36 to $71. Yeah. But also the number of people it can hold is a lot less,
Correct,
right? So
yeah.
that's probably why.
$36 for an ang pao for a wedding, I think that's damn good rate.
Yeah, it's good, but it's small. I mean, you're doing it
Yeah.
at Timber.
If let's say your friend was getting married at a very expensive place, right? Would you like, is there a cap to how much you would give? Like, I don't care where you're getting married, $200 is my limit. Or is it a case of like, no, okay, if you want to get married at some place that's like $500 per head, I'll just give cause it's your wedding.
Okay,
Quite
this,
cheap.
Yeah, what's your cap if you have a cap?
I think it's really circumstantial because I also think it depends on the friend.
Yeah.
Because if I know that friend is very wealthy, maybe their parents are paying for the wedding or something like that, then I wouldn't want to put myself in a financial position that makes me uncomfortable when I know that they're probably not going to be bothered if I'm hitting market rate, right? If that friend is going to like be very disappointed in me or like very upset with, honestly, I don't have friends like that. I really don't feel like I would be in this situation, but I guess if hypothetically I was and that friend was going to be like, oh, like blacklist, like never speak to her again if she doesn't pay market rate, I would honestly probably just come up with an excuse not to go.
Sorry, I sing.
So I guess to answer your question, I do have a limit,
Yeah.
but I don't know what that is.
I think 200.
I was gonna say 200 too.
I think 200 is like, okay.
But what if it's online weddings? Do you still give? If you're invited to like a Zoom wedding?
What the?
No.
You know, my friend said he needs to give. He said must give.
I'll give my 1 month Zoom subscription in the fee.
Oh.
I see.
$3. My parents, right, when they got married, they told me that someone gave 5 ringgit in an envelope. It's not even $5. It's 5 ringgit. Maybe the person just messed up the money. They thought it's $5, but they give 5 ringgit. And like obviously for them it was like, even though it was like a temple wedding, right? And like, you know, for Indians we normally have temple weddings and they tend to be cheaper than your hotel weddings, right? Even then 5 ringgit is a bit like, I feel like I can understand why my parents would be like, ugh, these people.
No, but what if I can't afford? Like I've been invited to weddings like going by myself since 17, right? And then at 17 years old, I was still in school and they cannot expect me to give market rate then. Because if you invite me then, surely you know that maybe it's, you invite me maybe because you want me there, right? I cannot think about it as a reflection of myself because that would drive me nuts. Like, I'm 17 like, if I keep thinking like, oh my gosh, I have to use my 1 month saving to give you, you know.
Let's say the couple knows that you're 17, right? Then it's like, okay, I understand why she gives this amount. But I think, you know, in the case of the story I just said with my parents, the 5 ringgit was a couple that they know that they can afford more than 5 ringgit. You know what I mean? So I feel like in those kind of extreme situations, I think it is a reflection of how stingy you are, no?
But why did they give 5 ringgit though?
Bro, I don't know.
The wedding was in Malaysia.
Bro, no, of course not.
It was in Singapore, right?
Yeah.
So why ringgit?
I also don't know. It's almost a practical joke.
They never asked them.
It's like, I think it's just a practical joke.
If I got a wedding,
think it's a mistake.
if the ang pao that I got got ringgit inside, I'll call that person and be like, yo, what's up?
See, maybe not that close also.
Like
It's
when-
one of the, you know.
How did I hurt you? Why are you giving me $5 for five ringgit for an ang pao? I feel like there's gonna be 2 kinds of people that have it at extravagant places, right? The kinds that really have the means, right? And they see it as a treat for everybody that comes. But I think they're also the kind that like take advantage of the fact that people are gonna help to give for the ang pao and they have that dream wedding. I think those kinds are the ones that make the whole thing a little bit more like.
Yeah.
So they see it as what? Like a investment.
Yeah, actually some couples also see their wedding as an opportunity to turn a profit. People brag online about like, oh yeah, my wedding I made 20K or
How can you even
my
make 20K
God.
while the margins like, that sounds like a good business.
I think
Like, what the heck?
I think it's a good. I think Kenneth is like what? It's like Shen's friend, the one who like I'm gonna have my wedding at like
Random, yeah.
buffet style, so I keep my costs low. I have it at Substation,
Yeah,
$36
yeah.
per head. I think people got tactics also. Like people kind of they have certain tactics, like how can they maximize their revenue, their ang pao revenue. Like,
So sad.
yeah, they'll invite like richer friends. They try to invite more colleagues and like bosses who might give more.
Actually, I heard of people like they look at their friend group, right? Then they are like, this one rich invite. This one rich invite.
Oh.
I heard of people like that. This one can give one, this one can give.
Tactical, yeah.
Then bad. It's like it cheapens the whole meaning.
It cheapens the
of-
marriage. Like honestly, I recently read a report that last year's divorce rates were like a third of couples are getting divorced now. And now I'm like, oh, I understand. If that's what you think your wedding is for, to like make money, to exploit people, to try and make your guests feel uncomfortable, then like, what about your relationship, your love, like your union? Like, haven't we missed?
No, we can
miss
make
that?
union and love, but also, babe, we made some money. You know,
Yeah.
like, we both, right?
What if it's a bonding experience for the husband and wife? What if it's that kind of husband and wife, you know? Then they're like, oh yeah, babe, babe, we make 20K from this wedding. Yeah, feels good.
Do it again next year. It's kind of sad though that like people you really love that you invite to your wedding might not come to your wedding because they can't afford it or like they don't want to pay the price. Like for me, I'm like, a wedding is one of the few opportunities you have in your entire life to have all your loved ones in one room, right? Especially with like today's more and more globalized society where people are going overseas. Like it's one of the few events where people will fly in, you know, to come be there to celebrate that. And the fact that I might deter my loved ones from coming to celebrate that with me because I've set this expectation where the red packet amount is beyond their financial means is sad, right? Like I wouldn't want to put that on other people.
I mean, there are some people that hold it twice. One for the family, one for the friends.
So they get double the ang paos.
No lah, like the friends one is really cheap venue, like just like a party.
bar,
So it's like no expectation to pay. It's kind of like really the couple's first party that they threw together. Just party only. Yeah.
That's the most recent wedding I went to. So I mean, okay, I was sick for the actual banquet, right? So I was really sick. It wasn't an excuse to not give ang pao, okay? So I didn't show up. But the next day, it was the party and I was like, yo, these are my friends of like 7 years, right? Like, no, longer than that, like 10 years, right? How can I not go for their party? So even though I was sick, I still kind of went and I gave an ang pao. Honestly, because I didn't go for the banquet, I forgot to give the ang pao. So I realized only later on that I didn't give the ang pao. So I gave a pela ang pao, something like that. How do I give my ang pao? Do I give it based on what I'm paying for? Or do I give it like, do I also pay for the banquet even though I didn't go to the banquet?
Typical Singaporean, right? No market rate table, then don't know what to give anymore.
Yeah,
Like, oh no, there's no guidance. How much do I give?
It's fair. I feel like I got to drink some alcohol, give a good bit of good luck, you know. Actually, is a pela ang pao less lucky than a physical red packet ang pao?
It has to be.
Why?
It has to be, right? It has to be,
Why?
It's
right?
the intention,
Because the packet is the
luck.
right? Yeah, you get the luck, right? I don't know.
Oh man, but then you know how when you send on Pela got the sending?
The animation.
Yeah, the animation.
Yeah.
To me, that's like my luck, bro.
How would you respond to like a married friend, right? Who like call you out? They're like, hey, I told you that the table was this much. The ang pao rate is 300 bucks. Why you only give me 50?
What the bro? Off let's stop being friends then.
Really legit
Let's be intense what the no, man.
What if it's like, yo bro, the wedding costs so much, you never help me cover costs?
Why you have a $200 wedding then?
Dream wedding, you only get married once in a life.
Shut up lah, dude.
Oh.
Take my $200 lah.
Like, I'm
Give her,
a
give her.
freelancer.
Give her.
Actor bro.
Would you record? Like, oh, which person give ang pao how much? Then you write down the amount.
I think people record, right, so that they give the same amount back.
So will you record?
I feel like every Chinese family does it. Because it's a show of respect. You just like record so that you remember. Because they remember one, surely. Let's say like they give you 250 and then you give like, I don't know, 210 back or something. Then they will tell their partner, hey, last time I gave them 250.
So will you do that?
Yeah, I think I'll write to be safe. Because then they will think a lot of things, like if you don't give them the same amount.
Is it?
Is that then calculative?
So it's like about
lah.
showing face, right? In a way. About saving face and like.
But I realize even if you don't care about it, right, your mother-in-law or your own mother would care about it.
Break the cycle. Don't do the list. Don't have the Excel sheet.
Don't be a mother.
Toxic parenting.
Your mother. That's a crazy turn.
If everyone forgot how much everyone else gave for weddings,
The world will be a better place.
Yeah.
eventually we'll just start to give whatever you feel like giving, right? No meh?
Well, I feel like if you look at Western culture, right, in terms of weddings, it's usually gifts, right? And it's usually, as far as I understand, like a table at the entrance, and people will drop off their
Yeah.
gift, right? And some people will label their gifts like, you know, with a card or from so-and-so, but some gifts will be just unlabeled, like, here's a gift I bought you. And so then at the wedding couple, at the end of the night, they take home all their gifts and they are opening them. I don't think anyone's writing down like, oh, I mean, maybe for like thank you cards, maybe they'll be like, oh, we got, you know, this nice dinnerware set from so-and-so, we should send them a thank you card. But the anonymous ones, I don't think they're like being like, okay, so here's the list of missing names of people who didn't bring us gifts, and here is the list of anonymous, let's try and like work out who didn't. I don't think there's any of that
But do you not
happening.
think that like if they get a gift that's like you know, a bit subpar when it comes to the price level, there wouldn't be a little bit of bitching and moaning?
Like you say you want a toaster, they buy you a $5 toaster.
What if it's the reverse is true? What if the reverse is the person gives you super extravagant gift, like a whole dishwasher? Then you feel the pressure of like, oh shucks, I have to give them a huge gift.
I have to get back a dishwasher.
Yeah, right.
But what if the reverse is true? Like let's say somebody very rich, then the ang pao give you 1K. Then you're like, oh shucks. It means like I have to give you back the same amount. Like that's a lot of pressure, right?
I mean, yeah, I guess so. Cause like, if your mom is the one, if your mother-in-law or your mother is the one going like, oh, how much the person give, then that means that on their side there's a mother-in-law or mother there that's also be
Also
like
checking.
At the time you give her 1K, that kind of thing, right?
yeah.
No, I feel like we really shouldn't record.
Break the cycle.
Yeah, I remember when I was younger, I think went for either my brother's or one of my relatives' wedding, and then sometimes they will get like family volunteers to do the front of house, right? Then they will record, like they'll take the ang paos and record the amount, right? I think there was one time, I think like the person who was at the front of house dropped the ball. So she forgot to start recording all the stuff. So nobody knew the ang paos came from who. And there was quite a bit of drama. Like the mothers were quite upset because they want to know who are the culprits, not culprits, but who are the ones that give less, one they give more. Like to them it's really important. So it prepares them for the next time they have to go for someone else's wedding. So they got upset over the FOH not doing their job, not recording the thing properly.
Now the FOH provide you with ang pao packets and pen, so that you arrive right when you cross-check your name to which table you sit, then you will always be reminded to give ang pao.
Wow.
It's like damn bad now. Like
Is that what happened for your brother's wedding?
not my brother. I didn't go out. I was hosting, right? But then I went for my friend's wedding. They really sit there. Then like if you forget to bring ang pao, right? They're just, it's okay. We have packet here. You want to write down your name? Then there's an ATM outside or something.
I got say really ATM outside.
No, like I asked my friend like there was once I attended a wedding. It was super early in the morning. It was like 10 plus, 9 plus. I seriously forgot it, okay? And then I panicked. And then at the reception they told me, oh yeah, it's okay, you can draw money, then there's ang pao packet.
Oh, can you imagine if the FOH there got a list, DBS, the nearest ATM is here.
Then I got PayNow QR code. I am not kidding you. So they want to make sure you give.
Pretty much all of us want an intimate wedding, right? And like, cause we think it's gonna save. So like, I was actually reading an article about this couple that wanted to have an intimate wedding, and they are like budget people, so it's a budget block, and so they felt like, yeah, if we want an intimate wedding and we want it to be, I think they calculated it to be max like 30, something like 30K in total. In the end, they ended up spending about 44K. Which was a lot more than they expected, right? And because they had, costs that they didn't prepare for, like they decided to have 2 ceremonies, one dinner for the friends, one dinner for the family. But here are some things that they did cut down on, which I thought was like, okay, it's quite interesting that, a little like help for us future wedding people.
Like pro tips,
Yeah, pro tips in a way. So yeah, no videographer, that's one. Because they felt like it was not important to have a wedding video. Another thing was dinner entertainment, no live band or anything like that. All they did was provide their guests with some cards and Polaroids. Yeah, and like the guests had a lot of fun, yeah, like playing cards and like card games and stuff that they can keep entertained. And you just play music off the thing. Another one was decorations. So the decorations was just $100. Fairy lights and pom-poms. That's what they did. So like these were like some cute things that they did to cut down their wedding costs. So if you're ever planning to have a cheap wedding, these are some things.
No, I think the one about giving them cards and letting them play games is damn good.
Yeah, it's really cute. Like also like their wedding invitation, they basically didn't, you know, it costs a lot to print, right?
Yeah.
Wedding invitation, so just send like a little Canva design invite. That's what they did.
Yeah, I feel like if whenever you go to a wedding, right, especially if you're not seated with people that you know,
Yeah.
it gets pretty damn boring quite quickly.
Yeah.
It's fun to turn and watch the gate crash video from the morning and everything, but then that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
If you gave people like games and activities they can play right at the wedding, I think it'd be damn fun.
And they also had friends hosting games. So I feel
Yeah.
like, you know, that's a good way to...
Yeah.
No, I feel like I always wanted for my wedding, I always wanted to do like a game show. So you come to my wedding, there's a chance to win an iPad Pro. There's a chance to win something else.
But you have to give ang pao to cover those costs.
Maybe lah. Yeah, I guess.
My friend's game show, he gave out 4 ang paos.
Ah.
Like for people to win. It was a bingo game. Then everybody had a bingo sheet.
Can you imagine?
And all the numbers are related to the couple. So people win like $68 ang pao. Like $68.
Can you imagine if the game for your wedding, right, is that you pull out all the ang paos that everyone gave you, and then do a lucky draw, and then you pull out the ang pao and be like, okay, so you won this ang pao from my 4th auntie. How much did she give? $40. Thank you, auntie. Even though you raised me, give $40. Alright, congratulations, you won $40.
Oh my god, do it, Ashley! I want to
do
do
it,
your
Ashley.
wedding! Yeah.
You give the ang paos that you got as the prizes for your wedding.
Oh, that's genius!
do
You
it.
cracked the code. I want to do that now. That's so fun.
You know what you said about saving costs on
Yeah.
different things because it reflects your values, and it made me think of this recent wedding that my cousin shared with me, and she was damn angry. The bride, right, said, "Oh, this wedding is a party. It's just a party with friends." So basically, every segment of the wedding was done by a friend. Friend design this, friend decorate place, friend host, friend make wedding cake. So she doesn't pay a lot of them. It's just like small ang paos for each friend. And my cousin was damn angry.
Why?
My cousin said that like she was making use of her friends.
I mean, this is something that people have brought up before, though. Like if you're having a wedding and a lot of it is sponsored, so I think people talk about this because of influencers to get the whole wedding sponsored, right? You shouldn't expect your guests to have to fork out anything because like you didn't fork out anything, man. If your whole wedding was sponsored and you still want me to give ang pao, that means you're just making pure profit, Pure, even if you pay me $20 for the ang pao, I still make money off it.
Yeah.
So I think maybe if like everything was done by friends and sponsored by friends, then you shouldn't-
Videographer friend, photographer friend.
But she was angry because they were expected to pay ang pao?
No, like, she was angry because
yeah.
she's on the groom's side, and then the groom had no say in anything because the entire wedding was like done by the bride's friends because she had connections or what lah. And then it became like her party. You know what I mean? And then but he can't argue because he doesn't have to pay also. What?
Yeah lah, it's true lah, it's true
Yeah.
lah.
I think that's quite nice though.
I
I
feel
don't
like
know. I
it's
feel like it's not exploitative. I feel like if you got a close bunch of friends that all want to like support in that way, I think it's like you said what services. It's like a different kind of gift. Yeah.
I mean, unless you start charging for the ang pao, then you.
Yeah. But I mean,
I guess that's how people make bank. Make 20K from your wedding.
yeah. But you don't charge for an ang pao, right?
I mean, yeah lah. The ang pao's the cost of the price of
Yeah,
entry,
people just give whatever they feel, right? So if you make it clear, like people are helping for this, I pay, you know.
Yeah, I think people appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think people
Yeah.
appreciate being told that my wedding is sponsored by this. So you just bear it in mind
Yeah.
when you're packing the red packet.
I think it's fun if like all your friends help to plan for your wedding. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you also like don't take advantage of them lah. Yeah.
Actually, is it tradition to give your groomsmen and bridesmaids? Because I think I was reading something that said that you give them ang
Yeah.
paos also, right?
The
Your
gate
groomsmen.
Because by right, the groomsmen and the bridesmaids are like the bride and groom's for the whole
Yeah,
wedding.
exactly. Yeah.
Help me go take this, help me do that, help me carry my train. So I think you give them an ang pao sounds
Right.
kind of fair.
Have you been a bridesmaid before? You have.
I have, yeah.
Were you? Never.
No. I
Wait.
just host.
Were you remunerated?
It was a Western wedding.
Were you given a gift?
Oh, actually, yeah. Like we were given a really swanky gift box of like it had a robe in it, like a nice silk robe, slippers, face mask, other like I can't can't remember, a lot of things in it. Oh, a necklace.
Like a glam box.
Yeah, like a box of like fun trinkets, like we all wore them together, like to get ready. But then I feel like there's also a lot of additional costs, like being a bridesmaid, because you have to like pay for your dress, and you have to it takes up a lot more of your time, because like you said, you have to be there like earlier, stay later. There's expectations to like help clean up, help set up, that kind of thing.
Would y'all expect to be paid?
If I was a bridesmaid, I would expect the person to pay for my dress.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna wear that thing again, right? It's not the nicest thing, right?
Yeah.
Bridesmaids'
that's true.
dresses are meant to look ugly, right?
No.
I hope not.
Yeah. Alicia's just like, did he see my posts? Is he talking about
Can I say I'm
me?
ugly?
I don't know, I always thought that the whole idea of like bridesmaids' dresses is that they look uglier
I think
than
it depends on the
brides.
bride's taste.
Not ugly lah, that should be extreme.
Yeah, it's
right?
meant- it's meant to
obviously
make
the bride's the star,
Yeah
but it's still
lah.
meant to look good, what?
Okay.
Like the same color scheme and stuff.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't. I would want her to pay for my dress lah. But if I'm a groomsman, then no lah.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, because like
You buy your own suit then?
yeah, I buy my own suit
Funny
'cause
guy.
I can use it again and again and again. What?
But what if they want? They said the groom says, okay, we're doing lime green suits.
Oh,
for
then
my
f***
wedding."
off ah.
Yeah, everyone's gonna be in the same lime green suit. You gonna pay for it?
Really, but so you wouldn't like do something for like you wouldn't pay as a groomsman or a bridesmaid to support your friend that's getting married
I'm
Your
supporting
close
in
friend,
other
ah.
ways.
by not buying the lime green
Yeah,
suit.
I'm driving you around. I'm showing up at places. I'm carrying heavy things.
Yeah.
I'm like being a little for the day. Then still want to make me pay for a lime green suit that I'll never wear just cause your bride's a bit quirky.
Damn it.
No ah.
Ashley
Nonsense,
Krampus will not buy a lime green
Your
suit.
bride's a
Damn.
bit quirky.
Like no ah, just cause she quirky doesn't mean that I have to pay for a lime green suit ah. No, thank you, ah. Any final thoughts?
Okay, so my final thoughts are I don't want my guests for my wedding to feel like giving an ang pao as an obligation.
And for my wedding, I want it to be soon.
I think that we should give the ang pao at the end of the wedding. So I give you the amount, depends on how shook the wedding was.
And conversely, for my wedding, I don't want it to be soon.
That's it for episode 5 of We Need to Talk. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment down below and tell us what your wedding is gonna be like. I wanna know. Give us your top tips. I'll write them down for my wedding. That's happening soon. And that's it from us.
Thank you for
Bye.
watching.